This is not my typical video. It's not a ride. I sat down beside my chrome steed on the Devil's Triangle 2.5 years ago, in September 2021, and started to tell a true story. I've now made 6 attempts to sit down and finish it. I can laugh now about all the failed efforts. 23 years and change. Well, that previous video... Yeah, I took refuge from the biting flies and the mosquitoes and the curious onlookers, and I moved into the car here. But some of the obstacles were no laughing matter. Since I started this in 2021, my wife Linda was diagnosed with breast cancer. She has had 4 cancer surgeries since then, including a double mastectomy plus chemotherapy. She has also had emergency surgery for a perforated ulcer related to medications she was given during chemo. She's now cancer-free, but we don't take a single day for granted. Also, some of the delays were due to positive events, including cross-country trips for college graduations of children and births of grandbabies. Now, after cobbling together key portions of those 6 different attempts to record, I'm finally ready to post it in hopes that it will reach at least one person who could benefit from it. I've observed that trying to do something good and constructive to help people on YouTube often brings out trolls, but that's okay. We don't need their approval. There's not much I respect less on this earth than the so-called work done by trolls. They don't have any influence over us that we don't give them. So here we go. Enjoy the story. If I can help just one person with this story, all of the time and effort will have been well worth it. Every once in a while, I get the feeling I want to share some thoughts. And, these are tough times. A lot of people are doing a lot of praying. And I want to say a few words about that, about what happens when we pray and, we don't get the answers that we want. When that happens, look around for the silver lining, because, God sees the big picture and we don't. We see what's immediately in front of us and maybe a little bit down the road, but we don't see the eternal picture like God does. And so since God sees the eternal picture, we don't always get the answers to prayers that we think we should get. And but when that happens, it's because there's something better, something else we needed to learn, some other way in which we needed to develop. And I got an example of that happened in our lives. To set the stage a little bit, we had been serving in Germany for 5 years in the Air Force, working at the U-2 ground site, flying 12-hour missions up and down the Iron Curtain and controlling the sensors from the ground, exploiting the information we got, sending reports out during the missions, and pioneering that dynamic retasking of intel sensors and the things that JSTARS is known for now, and which the U-2 targeting system had pioneered and perfected. And the Cold War came to an end in 1990, 1991, and our system there got canceled. And there I was, an expert in a system that gotten canceled, coming up for the Majors Board. Been in the same place for 5 years at near Hahn Air Base, Germany, and just didn't think my chances looked real good at the Majors Board. So I had a fat year group, and they were going to really hit our group hard, my 84 year group. And so we decided it'd probably be better to get out. And we thought, being a civilian, almost 9 years experience, captain in the Air Force, lots of good intel experience. There's bound to be a lot of civilian jobs that we can be competitive for. Didn't work out that way. The federal government in 1992, when we took the exit bonus and got out, they put a hiring freeze on all federal jobs. And so, to make a long story short, as soon as we got to Miami from Germany, Homestead Air Force Base, Hurricane Andrew hit in August of 92, and then I separated in September of 92, and we spent the next 13 months unemployed. Jobs were tight, especially in my career field. I was in intelligence and national security, wanted to get back into that field, and there was nothing. they had a freeze-on that lasted years. And so I went to work finally for Ryder Corporation, always looking for that chance to get back into my career field of intelligence and or national security related industry. And just a second, we got another loud one coming here. Well, finally the FBI started hiring again, and I was getting pretty close to the cutoff. I was like 36, and I went ahead and applied for it, thinking it'd be a good way to get back into things. And I knew I was getting close to the age cutoff, 37th birthday, but I figured, well, if it moves quickly, I might be able to make it. So I applied for it, got selected to come up and take the test. I was in a big room in Fort Lauderdale with about 300 other people taking the test. Did well on that, got invited back for the panel interview and the writing sample. Went well on that. I felt like the Holy Spirit was opening that test to everything they were trying to decipher about my psychology and everything. It was like an open book to me, and I was blessed to really do well. So then they called me and said, hey, look, your birthday's coming up. We need to get you on the fast track. If you want to be an FBI special agent, you got to be in Quantico before you turn 37. And so I went ahead and did everything they asked me to do. I got the physical, went in, did the fingerprints, went and did what they called the trigger pull test, where you had to hold a sidearm with the firing pin removed and hold the nozzle or the muzzle into a little circle on the wall and pull the trigger as many times as you could in I think it was 2 minutes, or maybe it was only 1 minute, but it was designed to see if you had finger strength to keep firing for a long time, and just to where that would not put a strain. Apparently it's a thing that some people just have a natural weakness with, and so they actually do have a trigger pull test before they send you to Quantico. So it came down to where there was one class that I could get into before my 37th birthday. They were trying to expedite my background check in August, early September of 1995 because I turned 37 before the end of that month. So it was kind of it was a long shot anyway, to try and get everything done, but they expedited it, and so they had me set to leave on Saturday morning, report into Quantico on Sunday after driving up there from Miami, and then start class on Monday, turn 37 on Thursday that same week. And they were saying, hey, everything looks good. Are you ready? Can you take your car to Quantico so that you can go to church and stuff on the weekends once they start letting you off on weekends? And I said, oh yeah, of course. Friday afternoon they called and said, well, we don't know how to tell you this, but the Central Committee is they're gonna turn your application down after all. And to us, that was just devastating. I mean, I had been working over a year, getting up every morning, running 3.5 miles, stopping on the circuit around the outside of Coral Reef Park in Miami to do pull-ups on every big lap I did, and doing abdominal crunches, all the stuff I needed to do to even be ready to start at Quantico. And that was, it was really depressing. I mean, Linda and I, we didn't know what was going to happen then. We were stuck looking at low pay and a job outside of my career field for even longer, and not knowing what the future would bring. And to us, that time we had put in, and that effort was sacred. I mean, we were using our faith and working as hard as we could to prepare to have this opportunity to get back into government service and have a higher purpose going to work every day than just making the stockholders more money. Not that there's anything wrong with Ryder. Ryder was a great corporation with really good people in it, but I missed that higher purpose of the common good in my that I had enjoyed in the military, working in national defense. It kind of shook us up a little bit. I mean, we had seen the Lord's hand in each component of the process. I know that I'd had His help on the exams and the panel interviews and all that. So we wondered, why in the world would we get this far with His help and then have the carpet pulled out from under us? And I went back to Ryder and asked for my job back, because I had resigned it about a week earlier to prepare to leave. They were very gracious about it, let me come back on my previous job as supervisor for Ryder National Customer Service, and it was a hard few days, hard couple of months. But all we could do was press ahead and try and have faith in the future. It was hard at first, but we were able to pray away our discouragement and pray for more faith, and we just kept pressing ahead. We had no idea what route would be open to us in the future to get me back in my career field, but we just trusted in the Lord, and we knew that we'd been sustained in getting as far as we'd gotten. So in November, about two and a half months later, I got a call from a buddy I'd served with in Germany who also lived in Florida. And he was working as a full-time reservist in the intelligence directorate at SOCCENT, Special Operations Command Central. And he wondered if I'd be interested in coming on orders and working full-time back in the military again, back in uniform, with the plans directorate at SOCCENT, and to help with the RST NEO program, Regional Survey Team / Non-Combatant Evacuation Operations. And so spoke with Linda about it, and it was pretty much a no-brainer. Here was a chance to start getting captain's pay again, and start getting time toward a military retirement again, and get back into my career field. And all we had to do was move to Tampa from Miami. And so we jumped on that. I got that job. We worked out for about 2 years, and it was a wonderful job. Gave me experience on the ground in every part of the CENTCOM area of responsibility. The Horn of Africa at that time, Central Asia, all the stands, Kyrgyzstan, and a few other, no, just kidding, all of the stands, and there's a few other changed names that were put on a plaque one time at SOCCENT and given to somebody going away, and Kyrgyzstan is the only one that's polite enough to say right now, but the 6 stands had different names on this wooden plaque, and there were kids there and everything, and they read them all off. It's a different breed, different bunch of people to work with. Really enjoyed working with them, though. So we published a emergency evacuation plan for every State Department post over there, and that entailed surveying helicopter landing zones, fast rope sites, debarkation routes and points of debarkation like seaports and airports, assembly areas and alternate assembly areas. We were planning routes with an eye toward both speed and security and safety. We would basically publish a plan that the forces going in to remove Americans in a hurry, especially in non-permissive environments, would have what they needed to prepare for it as they traveled in. And it was normally going to be either a Army Special Forces Brigade or a MUSOC, a Marine Expeditionary Unit, Special Ops capable. And those were the forces we had in mind that we were publishing our plans for. And we just we felt real good about the plans we put together. And in fact, a few years later, I saw our plans talked about in official message traffic, which I'd love to have been able to have kept a copy, but it was classified and I couldn't. But it talked about how good our plans were written in the CENTCOM AOR, and they had put 3 of them to use. The one for Asmara, Eritrea, because of the border war with Ethiopia, caused the airport there was being shelled, and there were 2 State Department posts in Pakistan that were also evacuated due to some unrest that was going on within a few years after we wrote the plans. Now those plans had to be redone every 3 years, because you might find the perfect helicopter landing zone on a soccer field that's like right next to the residential area of the Americans. But then you come back 3 years later and there's no soccer field there, there's a 10-story apartment building. You know, that's just an example of the kind of thing that could happen. That's why these plans have to be refreshed every 3 years. And it was great to see people at high levels talking about the quality of our plans that we'd put together during that 2 years. And so that was very rewarding. But we, I had no idea that such jobs existed, but the Lord did. I had no idea about 9/11, but the Lord knew about it. He knew what was coming up, and I had no idea that I would not only make major, but make lieutenant colonel and then full colonel. I had no idea I would be able to get an active duty retirement. I had no idea that I'd be able to be the commissioning officer for my son and 4 of his classmates when they graduated from medical school. And I commissioned them into the Army and the Air Force. had no idea that I'd work the kind of missions and supervise the kind of teams and work with the kind of experts that I had a chance to work with. I had no idea that I'd even get the Legion of Merit, and all these things were beyond my scope of what I was even hoping for. And it all started with that painful no answer in fall of 1995. So I just would encourage you to, you're working hard for something and you're trying to exercise your faith and you're praying for it, and it falls through, even if it's the last minute and it's very frustrating. Don't give up on the Lord, because He'll never give up on you. Just know that there's got to be some silver linings there somewhere, and if you'll find them, the sooner you find them, the sooner you can put them to work in your life and take advantage of them. And just know that the Lord's never going to give up on you, so don't give up on Him. If something falls through that you're working hard for and exercising your faith for, just be assured there's something better out there, something in your long-term better interest that the Lord can see that you don't see right now. There's a point I want to make here, that all that preparation to get in the FBI was not wasted, but it was parlayed by the Lord into something that was better long-term for my family and I. If I hadn't been preparing to get in the FBI, if I hadn't been being blessed with success along those components of the way, then I would have stopped doing those things that eventually prepared me to go back on active duty. And it was important that I be in shape when I tried to get my commission going again. I had to check and make sure that I still had an active commission. I was able to basically bring it back to life and start going on orders again. But if I hadn't done that, it would have been hard to fit in and be accepted by the guys I was working with over there. The Special Operations Forces, the soldiers from 5th Special Forces Group at Fort Campbell, they really accepted me as a member of the team, which I was almost surprised about, because I was just an intel officer. I wasn't SOF, Special Ops Force. And not only that, but my background was Air Force. But once you get over there, once you're overseas working on a mission, they don't care about really. Now, what matters to them is not who wears a green beret back home when you're in uniform, but how good are you at your part of the mission, and can you be trusted to not do anything stupid? And once they assessed that I fit that description, then I became part of the team, and it was great to feel totally included, and just it really helped us work better together. It gave us synergy, helped us prepare better products. And but the main point was that the Lord didn't waste our preparation. He didn't waste any of that. We had been preparing in faith, and He knew that, and if we hadn't been, we wouldn't have been ready for the military opportunity when it came back up. And so let me just close this up by, I don't take my glasses off for this, because where's the camera on this thing? Bingo. Okay, well, listen, I want to assure you that when you think you've gotten a no answer from the Lord, look around for those silver linings, because they are always there. Don't give up on them. Find those silver linings, and exercise faith that you will find them and put them to use in your life, because it worked for us, and I'm certainly no better than you. I've been able to pray away faith or pray away fear and doubt and discouragement, because they interfere with our faith. So you can do the same thing. I know you can, and don't ever lose sight of that. I hope that everyone that hears this will listen to it and take it to heart, put it to use in their own lives. And if anyone has any questions for me, you can leave a comment on the video, or just send an email to me at the email address that's posted on the YouTube channel, Chrome Steed Chronicles. And if you do that, I will get back to you. And the Lord knows what our long-term best interests are, and we don't sometimes. We often don't. But because the Lord looked out for us, especially during our 3 big trials of the 90s. You know, Hurricane Andrew and 13 months of unemployment, and then the head-on with the drunk driver near Tampa in 98. Because he took care of us during those, and things turned out well when they could have been really bad. I was able to pray in faith before I deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan or any of the other jobs I've had, and was able to have faith once I prayed that I didn't have it, you know, I left it in his hands. Trust him, because he knows what's best for us in the long run, and that's what counts, is the long run. I was able to leave it in his hands because I knew that he had our long-term best interests at heart, and he has yours at heart too. And I just want to leave that with you, and I encourage you to get a hold of me if you have any questions. And that's about it. Cheers.